Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. This is a part 2 video for the lesson Life Processes, and hope you watched the part 1 video which I uploaded before 6 days. In this video we will cover the respiration part. We can define respiration as the process by which the glucose is broken down to release energy within the cell. We get this energy by combining oxygen and glucose. In respiration, we combine oxygen and glucose to get energy, but diverse organisms does this in different ways. And the three cases here are in the presence of oxygen, lack of oxygen, and in the absence of oxygen. In all these cases, the first thing which would happen is the breakdown of glucose into a pyruvate. A 6-carbon molecule is the glucose and a 3-carbon molecule is the pyruvate. And this process takes place in the cytoplasm. Here we need to know about aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. So here the respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen. So we saw three cases, right? In that, in presence of oxygen is aerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. Here the respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. In the three cases which we saw before, the second one and the third one, which is lack of oxygen and in absence of oxygen, are a type of anaerobic respiration. Now let's see the three cases in detail. During presence of oxygen. So here the pyruvate is broken down using oxygen and it is taking place in mitochondria. This pyruvate is broken down into 3 molecules of carbon dioxide and then the water is also formed. The release of energy in aerobic process is much greater than in the anaerobic process. This is due to the absence of oxygen in anaerobic process. Now let's see about the second case. During absence of oxygen, here the pyruvate is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. And this process takes place in the yeast during fermentation. Moving to the next case, which is during lack of oxygen. Here the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid. This lactic acid is also a 3-carbon molecule like the pyruvate. When there is a buildup of lactic acid in our muscles during sudden activity, it causes cramps. Now we saw about the three cases in detail. So now what happens after the energy is released? After the release of energy, the energy is used to synthesize a molecule called ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, which you came across in 9th standard. This ATP is used as a fuel for other activities in the cell. Now let's see about the respiration taking place in humans. First, the air which we breathe in is taken into the body through the nostrils, and the air is filtered by the fine hairs that line in the passage. The passage is also lined with mucus which helps in this process. From here, the air passes through the throat and then goes into the lungs. In the throat, the rings of cartilage are present to ensure that the air passage does not collapse. When the air enters the lungs, the air passage divides into smaller and smaller tubes and then they form into alveoli, which are balloon-like structures. The alveoli provides a surface where the exchange of gases takes place, and they contain a network of blood vessels. As you know, when we breathe in, the air is sucked into the lungs and fills the expanded alveoli. The blood also plays an important role by bringing the carbon dioxide from other parts of the body for the release. Now the carbon dioxide goes into the alveoli and the oxygen which is present in the alveolar air is taken up by the blood and then it is transported to all cells of the body. So what about respiration in plants? Here in plants, we know that the exchange of gases takes place through stomata, and then there are large intercellular spaces to ensure that every cells are in contact with the air. The carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged by diffusion rule. They go into the cells or away from them. During night, no photosynthesis would take place, and then the CO2 elimination is the major exchange which would happen. And in daytime, CO2 is generated during respiration and it is used up for photosynthesis. The oxygen release is a major event at daytime. And that's it for today, guys. The part 3 video would be uploaded in a very few days.